Ronell Nolan, President, CEO, Health Agents for America, coming to you live this Monday. I want to talk to you about eyes wide open. As we enter 2021 and a new administration, I believe that we should approach the new era with our eyes wide open and take the approach that knowledge is power, knowing what we do know is important to share with our members, and then, learning as we go along. So I wanted to let you know that our Ledge team is going to get really down and dirty about what do we think may happen. And if that does happen, what is our response? Instead of waiting to see what is going to happen. If you're not on the legislative team and you would like to be, please just send me an email. No prior experiences needed. We encourage everyone to join, and it's just an interactive group trying to figure out how do we go forward. Again, we can take two approaches. There are folks that are taking the approach that we don't have all the detail, so let's just not talk about it and let's just wait and see. I'm taking the approach, we know exactly what's in the budget. We know what it says about us. We might not know all the pieces and parts, but it's important for the agent community to know about it. No one's talking about it. I've reached out to several sources, and I kind of get a blank stare because not everyone is taking the approach that we are, that absolutely we know what it does say, and we need to let our members know that. Knowledge is power. I want to let you know the 2021 Pcori fee has been announced. Hold on a second, my pages are stuck together. For policy years that end on or after October 1st, 2020 and before October 1st, 2021 is $2.66, which is up from $2.54 the previous year. So up to $2.66, up from $2.54 from the previous year. We had an amazing presentation last Wednesday, but from Angie Sura, the Vice President of Compliance for Navigate HCR. She did a deep dive into the Omnius Budget of 2021, which some people are calling the stimulus package, which people are calling whatever. What it is for lay people, it is the budget that was signed by the President, passed by the House, passed by the Senate, signed by the President, that includes the budget that stopped things from being shut down. But what it also included was pieces and parts that affect our industry that was included in that bill. Things were put in as legacy pieces, as different things that are part of the bill. They're not, something that's being talked about. It is the law. It is a federal law. Repeat after me. It's a federal law. It's not going to change. It's not going to go away. We will have that recording available for those that did not get to join to be able to take a look. But very important, knowledge is power. You need to go into this year with your eyes wide open and understand how this affects your industry and how this affects your clients. Some of the things that I wanted to bring to your attention on this stimulus budget, whatever you want to call it, is of course surprise billing. Now, surprise billing is included. It was passed by the doctors in Congress, so it's more something that the doctors and hospitals like more than the insurance companies. It's a baseball arbitration. What will happen is someone will not agree with the amount. They'll go to arbitration. The arbitrator will decide what the rate is going to be, what the balance is going to be. And insurance companies, of course, are worried that could go up and down, be all around, and they're concerned about this piece of law. So watch for some conversations to come out of insurance companies. The other is health plan price transparency. We have talked about this for years. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to go onto a site and say, okay, Dr. A does it for $10,000 and he has a rating of 5 stars. Dr. B does it for $100,000 and he has 1 star. And to be able to pick and choose and do what's best for ourselves. That is in the law, in the budget that was passed and signed by President Trump. We'll have more information come from that. Now, what I want to tell you is that throughout the bill, throughout the law, the word secretary is, of course, the most common word, just like the ACA. So in some parts, Secretary of HHS, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of IRS, different ones, Secretary of Treasury, will play a part in making the rules and regulations. So you're going to see more things coming out. And that's why I said it's best that you know what's in there. You might not know the rules and regulations yet because it hasn't been promulgated, but you know that it's out there. A maintenance of a price comparator tool, increasing transparency by removing gag clauses, extension of ERISA Section 408B, disclosure of health and welfare plans. This is something that affects ERISA. So we have a federal budget that is touching a law that was passed in 1974. This affects ERISA. You need to pay attention. Reporting on pharmacy benefits and drug cost. Group health plans or insurance or health insurance insurers must provide information to the Secretary of Labor, Treasury, and HHS. We're going to find out exactly what does that mean. It's going to be interesting. Also, transparency regarding in-network, out-of-network deductibles and out-of-pocket limits. This is all in the budget, all in whatever you want to call it, Omnius Budget of 2021, which is official language, but you'll find people are going to call it the stimulus package. They're going to call it whatever. It's the law. There is also some flexible spending account relief that I'm going to get into a little bit in more detail. And let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share from this presentation. There is tons. And as I said, I encourage you to go and take a look at that webinar and make sure that you understand what's coming. And you might not know all the details, but you do know it's coming. Now, I've said over and over, and I'm going to continue to say in case this is the first time you've heard it, in the law, it calls for transparency of commissions. It was Senator Alexander's legacy piece, and he wanted to make sure that we gave full disclosure of our commissions to potential and current clients. Now, it includes the fact that you have to give a very descriptive breakdown of what you provide for commissions. You know, what services do you provide? It doesn't let anybody off the hook, so it doesn't matter what you call yourself. You're included in this law. It includes direct commissions, which we totally understand, and indirect commissions. We're going to have a hard time figuring out what that is. We don't know really how to provide this yet because the Secretary of Labor is going to promulgate the rules for us. So we'll know from the Secretary of Labor. We are hoping for a standard form that says, you know, fill this in. Description of benefits. Do you provide A, B, C, D, and what are your commissions per person per month or whatever? This applies to group and individual. So it doesn't let anybody off the hook. Don't think that it does. It applies to us. It puts the onus on us. I've had several conversations. We think the insurance companies should do this. I agree. Too bad. It's the law. Insurance companies include the commissions in contracts. It's right there. That should work. No, that's not the law. The law says give an extensive description of what you do and then break down the commissions in direct and indirect. What we do now is not going to work. Do we really know how to do it yet? Not really. But you need to know it's coming, and you need to know and be prepared. And the kicker is it's not just for your current clients, it's for your potential clients. And we talked about this during the webinar, that this has to be a fluid change. It can't be something that you set January 1 and it's the same going through. January 1, you're making X amount. March 1st, you got a little bonus. It changed $1. You're going to have to make that change. It's going to be very complicated. There are some limits of how much you have to disclose. But say you're invited to a very expensive dinner, steak dinner, wine, whatever, something that happens in every profession. Then how do you break that down? Is it a 0.0001 per client, per potential client? It can get very complicated. So how we do it is going to roll out. Knowing that you have to do it is very, very important. The other thing is there's a piece on short-term medical that says insurance companies must disclose commissions to potential clients prior to a sale. So your client is going to have to sign off prior to a sale that they totally understand what commissions are being paid to you. I've reached out to some insurance companies, haven't heard from them too much about what they think yet. I guess they're still deciphering it. And of course, the rules and regs are not out yet. So how that's going to happen and how that's going to work is still going to be figured out in the future. But know that short-term medical is probably going to be, it will be one of the things that the Biden administration is going to target. Because they feel like more people on short-term medical or less people on the ACA. So you can see that they possibly could kick the Trump executive order out and go back to the President Obama's executive order that allows you to sell them in 3-month increments. Pay attention to that. This is something that the legislative team is going to talk about. But I can see why this was something they wanted to make sure people understood what they were buying and the fact that what the commissions are, and the fact that, you know, some of the Democratic senators requested the that report that they called on 31 agents and 8 people sent them to the ACA. 8 people sent them to short-term medical. Now, what we talked about, and just brilliant, when we get to our power hour and we have members that call in from all over the United States, one of our members from Maryland said, hey, doesn't it matter what time or what date they called these agents? Because if they called them and it was not open enrollment, then absolutely short-term medical would be one of their only options. So was this report skewed, which I think it was skewed in the beginning, but skewed even further? Regardless, they have used this to say short-term medical is bad. Even some states, Connecticut, won't even sell short-term medical. We know as agents and brokers, it plays a role. That some people need it, in certain cases. And if you hear Faith growl, we have the maintenance man here, so she's growling. My apologies, this is live. Biden has proposed richer health premium tax increases, so look for that to happen. He's calling for Congress to pay for COBRA. Look for that. That could be coming down the pike. Biden also has a rescue plan for the Affordable Care Act, and he is calling it the American Rescue Plan. And these policies would reduce premiums for the 10 million people who have lost group coverage to reduce the ranks of the uninsured by millions. So look for that. I already told you that Biden's looking for Congress to subsidize COBRA. And Biden's federal government would cover 100% of the premium. Things are going to change, and we need to keep our eye on the ball. We need to keep our eyes wide open. He wants to make sure the people that enroll don't pay more than 8.5% of their income. So the 100% of premium means covering the portion for the employee and the employer under COBRA. That's what Biden's looking to do. New Synergy put a paper out that's in your Monday news that talks about FSA relief, provisions that are in the budget, stimulus package, Omnius Budget, whatever you want to call it, it's law. It has an uncapped carryover, extended grace period, healthcare FSA spin down, dependent care FSA age limit increasing from 12 to 13, and all this is covered in Angie Sura's webinar on the deep dive into the budget. Also, just a quick tidbit, Pharmacy Association is filing suit to block the Trump administration's rebate rule. You're going to see a lot of industries with a lot of money that doesn't include us that are going to, try to fight some of the rules and regs that come out of the budget. The law is the law. The law is the law. What's going to come out are the rules and regs by whatever secretary is in charge of that section. You're going to see some pushback from those industries. If we had, lots of money, we would probably do some pushback on exactly how do you expect us to do this. The law is the law. We believe in transparency. I don't think anybody's scared to share how much we make, but we want to make sure that we do it correctly. And the indirect compensation is very, very, very complicated. How do you break that down? This is not going to be an easy task, but know that HAFA is, on task, ready to get involved. Know that we can't go to the Secretary of Labor or HHS or anybody yet because they haven't been approved by the Senate. They might have been, picked by President Biden, but they haven't officially taken their positions. So we can't officially go to them and say, these are our concerns. But know that we are there, that we are just waiting for our time to get involved. We're on task force with CMS that also includes the other trade associations, and we hope that the other trade associations agree to work together. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. There are some that really are, work with HAFA wonderful, and there's some that refuse to work with HAFA because of personal issues. But in saying that, keep your eyes wide open. Know what's happening. Know what's in the law. It's not proposed. It's not going to change. It's not going to be amended. There's not going to be an executive order that removes commission transparency. It's not going to happen. It's a law that was passed, just like anything else, that is in effect, that will be in effect and will not change. I am proud and honored to represent the HAFA freedom fighters, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. Call me if you need anything. I'm here if you need me. Until next Monday, Ronell Nolan, President, Health Agents for America.